Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of Tilde Talks. Tilde Talks is a tech video podcast series happening every Sunday by the techies for the techies, in which we will be inviting a techie and we'll discuss a new hot tech topic in each episode. This discussion is structured to be tech focused but in a storytelling conversational fashion. This show is sponsored by Tilda Hat and myself, Pranav. I'll be the tech host for the show. In this episode, we'll be discussing about the mobile app development, in which what are all the technologies used, what is native app development, what is hybrid app development, what are all the career opportunities in this domain, and lot more. As always, we have received over hundreds of questions from the guest for the guests in the registration form. Considering the time constraint, our team took most informative, interesting, and useful questions, tried our best to merge them in to make the show very informative for all the attendees. And as mentioned during the registrations, we will be giving a prize voucher worth 250 rupees for the best two questions that we have got. Stay tuned till the end to know the winners. To answer all these questions and give a lot of information on mobile app development, we have our guest, Mr. Bhagat Singh, iOS app developer at Phone. Hi Bhagat, welcome to our show.
Hi Pranav, what's up? What's going on?
It's really going great. Yes. So, uh, to all our attendees, if you can briefly introduce yourself, it will be very great.
Yeah, sure. So, hello everybody who's joined. My name is Bhagat. I am an iOS app engineer at PhonePe right now. PhonePe is India's digital payments app. It is revolutionizing cashless payments across India right now. Previously, I was working at Zomato. So, if you've ever ordered your late night snack from Zomato, I have a contribution in filling your tummies. And I also work as a contributor at ravendelic.com. Ravendelic.com is the world's foremost authority on mobile app development tutorials. So if you've ever tried something out, most probably it's come from ravendelic.com. So yeah.
Yes, speaking of Zomato, that has not reached our city, but PhonePe, yes, it was reached till our neighborhood. Yes, it was really great having developers like you to have in our show. So, straightly jumping into the topic, what is native app development? What is hybrid app development? And if you can walk us through your experience, it will be really great.
Yeah, sure. So native app development and hybrid app development are, techniques of uh, building apps. So in today's generation, like it is a must for your app to, for your business to have an online presence, right? So for example, let's take the example of PhonePe. So PhonePe is all mobile. Like you cannot pay or do something on the website or something. So the scale at which PhonePe caters, it's like almost 30 million, 40 million monthly active users and stuff. So in this day and age, it has to be something on the internet, something on the mobile side, right? Most of the users, like with help from Geo and stuff, have internet today on their mobile phones for free, right? So you got to capitalize on the mobile side of it.
Right.
So, for example, Zomato, it's all also like over 90% orders on from the app, right? So yeah, so hybrid app development and native development, it's kind of like in the native side, uh, you are using technologies that are provided by the platform owner. For example, Apple provides Swift and Objective-C, and Google on the other side, Android, it provides Java and Kotlin. So sticking to one's original software development tools that the one's platforms offer is native development. And on the other side, there are some third-party technologies such as React, or there is a language called Dart offered by Flutter. So, that paradigm is kind of a hybrid app development kind of a paradigm. Yeah.
So, speaking of the world is changing really, really fast. So,
Yep.
there is in near future we can expect an UA with AR, VR, and all. So you were
Yeah.
telling about the UA experiences as well. So how ready are we as an Indian developers? How ready are we to adapt to AR, VR kind of mobile app developments?
So AR, VR, and all these kind of developments, these can, these happen on the native side as well as on the hybrid side. So in the native side, if you are, already a developer on the native side and are well versed with the native technologies, so you can, continue doing AR and VR in those technologies. For example, Apple has ARKit, and I don't exactly know the name of the Google's version of it, but they do have an SDK for AR. And on the hybrid side, uh, we have Unity as well as other SDKs, other game engines that support exporting your games and exporting your stuff, AR VR apps onto specific device platforms. So I think we're pretty ready to embrace whatever comes our way in both the native and the hybrid side.
Great, great. That was an inciting news. So speaking of the native and hybrid app development, what is the use cases that we specifically go for native app development, and what is the specific use case that we have to go for native app development?
Okay, so for native app development, and speaking like personally, for me, the first and foremost thing would be customer experience, right? Like for me, customer experience is the king. uh, you are a company, and like what you project in your app is a reflection of yourself, right? So it is a must to have a great user experience. And I think the best user experience comes from building apps in native, right? So this is a pretty solid use case for using native app development. I'll give an example. For let's say you're just ordering from a Zomato, and I just gave you a 10% discount, right? So if I were to give you that 10% discount in a very polished and a very precise manner, rather than just throwing it at you, you would probably drop off. If I'd just throw it off you, and you'll say like it's just 10%, why would I order something, right? But if I would give it to you in a little poised way, in a animated and all that stuff, you'd probably go and order from there. So I think that your journey as a consumer really matters. So customer experience would be the king for that, and you should go with native in that case. Second would be performance, right? So performance in native apps is unparalleled by any of these SDKs. Uh, Third party SDKs, for example, something like a React or something like a Flutter, because they're still continuously in development. So you cannot, guarantee that they'll provide you the best of uh, performance, I'd say. So if you're looking after performance and extract the juice out of a device, you have to go for the native development. On the other side, if you were to get build a MVP, get a funding of X rupees, and just get your app out of the door, and you have to have a very good time to market. So I'd suggest you to go for the hybrid development, because it'll save you a lot of time, it'll save you a lot of effort. Because if your goal is to just to get out there, just get something in the hand of consumers, will handle everything that comes. Or get something in the hand of the VC, will just get some funding and then build a proper product, and maybe like hire some folks and stuff like that. So that would be the use case where uh, you'll have to go with hybrid development. uh, I don't remember what company it was, but there was this company. They already had a great app on the market, and they needed to introduce chat, right?
Okay.
So what they did was, they already had the app on the market, which was built in native. So they built the chat in the hybrid ecosystem, and they
Okay.
pulled that inside their app. So at the same time, they were offering, a good user experience with the, efficiency of the hybrid nature of the chat. So yeah, that are some use cases that you might want to consider while building stuff.
I remember a TechCrunch episode where
Hmm.
Mark Zuckerberg said, it's in the year 2012, I guess. So going with HTML5 is a mistake. Like in the TechCrunch, he openly said he should have gone with the native, and they migrated entirely from HTML5 to native. Yes, I remember uh, that. I
Yeah,
just wanted to add you. So yes, but there are a lot of positives in it. But considering the rapid change in the environment, most of the software development companies are preferring agile methodologies over waterfall development. So there are
Hmm.
rapid changes in the environment where you have to implement changes. So there should be a set of Android users where to develop the same change. There should be some iOS developers to make the same change. But in
yeah.
hybrid, as a normal person, if one work has to be done very quickly, it has to be done with the hybrid applications, right? So why
Yeah.
do still they prefer native applications?
So, as I told before that, like customer experience and performance are key factors in preferring native development over hybrid. A couple of more factors would include, the future viability. For example, when you're developing an app in a native platform, you have you have complete control over what you build and how you build. In the sense that, for example, tomorrow, Apple comes and like says we're banning all third party apps that make use of our platforms for hybrid development use cases, right? So you cannot stop that, right? You don't have control over it, right? So something like Google comes and says we are not allowing React from tomorrow in on the Play Store. You don't have
Right.
control over it, right? And if you are a well-established business, you lose all of your customers overnight. So
Right.
a sense of trust and a sense of future viability comes into play when you're when there's so much money and so much consumers and so much at stake, right? So that is one thing. Second thing would be the security of the platforms. So since you're using third-party libraries, since you're using SDKs built by other people, although there is a good community support by everyone at Facebook from React and for Dart, Google is there, but you cannot always guarantee the security concerns that might arise due to all this. So security is a little bit better on the native side of things. Yeah.
Um, yeah, that was a really good point. But speaking of the storage device, everybody is concerned over a storage device for the past decade itself. Uh, so, what would be the see, every application cannot have a mobile application, and every mobile application cannot be installed in my particular phone.
Yeah.
So, for that PWA, that's where the progressive web apps comes in
Yeah.
the point. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, what is there any future for the progressive web application to take over the complete the mobile application itself, so that you can uh, the storage would be a lot more benefit for all the people who are using mobile phones, right? So
Yeah. So, as far as it concerns with progressive web apps, like they are cool and they save you a lot of space. Are they are running on the world's best technologies, but uh, the point really comes down to, would you choose a progressive web app built for Facebook or would you choose the native app, right? If I'm sure progressive web apps are really cool and really advanced, but I'm also sure that they might have some limitations that might ask you, if you want to reset your password, just go on the website, right? But I want to do that in the app, right? I cannot do
right,
that anymore. So it all comes down, to striking the perfect balance between what you want and what the progressive web app gives you. So basically, also, I don't see a concern about, uh, you know, phones getting filled up with the apps because storage is like of like cost per MB is like decreasing all of a sudden and all that stuff. So storage is not a concern, but the compatibility, as you mentioned, is because newer and newer apps are targeting users who are like 1 or 2 years of devices old. So that might be a concern, but uh, progressive web apps, I don't think in the next 5 years or so can take over native. I don't, I don't feel like that is going to happen.
You strongly believe in native application development, at least for the next 10 years, right? Yeah, I
Yeah,
can see that in your confidence of your speech. Yes, that's
yeah,
really great. So yes, but there are a lot of drag and drop applications coming into the market. So just in 4 clicks or 5 clicks, you can create your own customized mobile applications, web applications, anything. For
yeah.
example, Zoho Creator is one of the famous one in the market so far. So whether these things can develop like affect the developers, like there could be a shortage in demand. That could be the first point any developer who is willing to learn can think about it, right? So
Yeah. So
uh,
yeah. So what happens is these tools are great, and these tools actually provide the efficiency that one might need at a certain point in time. But uh, if like if you are creating your app using that thing, like the drag and drop thing, I also heard of one more such thing, which is MIT App Inventor. It works
okay,
for Android. Yeah, I don't know if it still exists, but it used to 2 or 3 years back. So the main bottom line that it boils down to it is that no, you're not gonna have a shortage of demand, because these drag and drop things might work for you in your college project. These might work for you in a hackathon. These might work for you when you're building an MVP, but these will definitely not work for you when you're thinking at scale, or you're thinking 30 million users a month, or because you actually don't get to see the code of it. If you just wanted to modify something like I want to do an X to a Y or a Y to an X, right? You don't get to do that, right? So it's better to learn it the hard way and be future proof for the next 5 years than to do it in 10 minutes and then keep crying like this is not working and this is not working and this is not working. It also has its
right.
use cases, like you're building a project at a hackathon, like don't want to waste time on building an app from scratch, just drag and drop some stuff and go about it, right? So those use cases are very valid and they still exist. But if you're talking scale, if you're talking like I want to build the next Zomato, I want to build the next Uber, you cannot at any point just do
Really,
that by dragging and
mhm.
dropping. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So yes, so considering the security, is React
Hmm.
and Flutter are secure enough as the native applications in terms of security, in terms of the compatibility? Are they uh, good enough?
I would say they are up to the par with the native platforms, but you never know what vulnerability might come tomorrow or what vulnerability you might have right now and you don't even know about it, right? Native platforms are very stringent and you know uh, quick enough to fix whatever vulnerability they might get, and they email a lot of the users and stuff. But when you're building with a React or a Flutter, uh, you might or might not get a vulnerability today or tomorrow. You might have it right now and you don't know it, but you can get, and the platforms are indirectly not responsible for it. So you cannot even like go to something like my app is hacked and stuff. It's like non-trivial. So yeah.
Great. So consider if you have to create a MVP and you are forced
Okay.
to, you wanted to create a hybrid. Which one do you choose? React or Flutter, and why?
React and Flutter and why? Okay. So I'd think I'd go with Flutter for now because
Okay.
I see a strong backing of it from Google, like they're promoting it everywhere. So, and Dart 2.0 just came out, I think last year or something. So the future for Flutter is really, you know, really bright because Google has, like React also has Facebook behind it, but uh, I think that the future viability and the future options of Flutter are way better than React at this stage, and that is like what I think. But if you're looking for something like uh, I'll build a view or build a snippet from React and put it in my native app, that you can do only with React. So you can like build small components from React and add it in your hybrid, add it in your native thing. But you cannot do that through Flutter. So yeah,
Right.
like both
Right.
both sides have their pros and cons. It totally depends on the use case of what the person wants to actually achieve.
Exactly. That comes to the
Yeah,
end point of every conversation. Yes.
yeah.
So, if for all the viewers, somebody has to start learning the mobile application development because it has to start from the standard six. The coding has to be standard
Yep.
according to the new education policy. So, at what point they can start learning the mobile application development, and what would be the roadmap for this year?
Okay, so it actually depends on which side of things you want to go upon, but the basic principles would remain the same, just the technologies would change. So I'd say you should have a better grasp of coding, like basic object-oriented programming and functional programming by, if they're starting at in the sixth grade, so I think they should have a better grasp of it by the 12th grade. So I wish they had it at my time. So yeah. Uh,
Even
then
I think
I I'm sorry, what?
no, even I was thinking the same. Whether if I have
Yeah,
started coding right from the sixth standard, it will be really great.
yeah.
All in.
So yeah, like basic object-oriented programming and functional makes a really good base for what you want to do next. Then it definitely falls upon the person that what stack they want to choose. Uh, the first thing for anyone, no matter what stack they use, would be to get a beginner's course into that technology. There are a lot of free courses on YouTube, and like you just have to search that technology name on YouTube, and you'll get tons and tons of videos, right? So get that course, get through it, build some apps. Then I'd say you can only, like, I'm a firm believer of you can only learn by making stuff, right? So I'd suggest anyone, like if they're just starting out, they have started or whatever, like build and build stuff. It's the only way that you're gonna, get know of your weaknesses and get get to know what you're good at. So
Okay.
build stuff, build your portfolio, like put it up on GitHub, share it on Reddit, share it on LinkedIn, like just communicate with everybody, collaborate with people. Then I'd say some uh, get some certification or that kind of a thing, like where it
Okay.
like get into a boot camp, get into do a nano degree from Udacity or something like that. So it kind of firm forms the uh, recruiter or anyone who is viewing your resume that this guy knows stuff, right? So
Right.
just a thing to put it up on your resume kind of a thing. Then the rest, the world is open, like apply for jobs and stuff like that.
So, what are all the career opportunities continuing this? So, what and all companies you could apply? What and all roles you could get on learning the mobile application development?
Okay, so I'd say most of the startups and uh, which haven't made to market yet or are in their building phase would have opportunities for hybrid app development people, and because they're very eager to get to market, so they must have chosen the hybrid stack over the native stack. One more reason to choose hybrid stack is you get to maintain only one code base, and like hire less people, so it all kind of works out for the startup environment. So yeah,
Right.
so most of the startups would have these kind of people, uh, but there are startups that also have native app side of people. There are no, I don't think there is a short a shortage in demand for mobile people, because apps are everything nowadays, and there is nothing
Very true.
there's nothing short in demand or stuff like that due to the pandemic and all. So I've seen a lot of people posting like uh, hiring for this, hiring for that on LinkedIn. So opportunities are there. You just need to be good at what you do. So that makes hiring all the more easy.
That was good.
Yep.
Thank you, Bhagat. So, if you are looking for a career in mobile app development, do visit tildahat.com. It's tildehat.com, and search for the plenty of active jobs in mobile app development and the other related areas. The jobs are updated on nightly basis. So now it's time to announce the winners. So Bharat, what were the questions that made you mind blowing?
Okay. Uh, I'd say one for the AR and VR question, and I don't remember the other one. Yeah,
No problem.
I just yeah.
So uh, the winner for this particular event is Pranav. Yeah, hopefully a guy from my name itself has asked this question. So yes,
Another
uh,
Pranav.
yeah, another Pranav is getting this kind of voucher. So definitely our
Oh,
team will
nice.
definitely get back to you. And we have a question uh, one of our audience named Anushul. So
Okay.
what holds more value in certification or the work experience? Like uh, I've seen people completing a course in a day. So that is what his question is. So whether doing certification can
Okay.
value add.
Okay. So comparing certification and work experience are totally, I think, different things. Certifications help other people to get to know what you did. Like, it kind of certifies that this guy is a beginner developer, or this guy is a medium or an intermediate developer. But work experience, on the other hand, tasks you with building bulletproof apps that will go to around, what, you never know how many consumers at the real time, right? uh, building for scale, thinking of scalable solutions. So you cannot do that in a certification, right? The the path of thinking and path of solutionizing and stuff are totally different on both of these tracks. In certifications, you are likely to build an X amount of apps, if talking about iOS or Android, like build X amount of apps and then you get the certificate, right? It doesn't really uh, it doesn't really tell the recruiter that you you were on another plane of thinking. It just tells that I have I have a a sense of trust in this organization that appointed you with the certificate, right? So if Google provides me a certificate tomorrow that this guy is an iOS developer, right? So all of your trust is on Google, that Google provided me, and like, yeah, Google is very trusted and stuff, right? So these two things I think are incomparable. But the bottom line is you have to be good at what you do. So it really takes these things out of the question.
Great. So
Yeah.
we have one more question. So this is from Arjit. Can payloads be injected in both kind of app, which is created by native or hybrid?
Uh, oh, like I can't
Like
understand the question. Can you come
okay,
again?
so yes, I'll come again. Can the payloads be injected in both kind of native and hybrid?
I cannot understand what kind of payloads. Like, I'll just need some more info on that.
Okay, okay, no problem. Okay, so not a problem.
Yep.
If Arjit can give me some more inputs on that, we can definitely answer your question. So by this, we come to this end of this particular episode. Thank you so much, Bhagat, for joining in. I really, really enjoyed and got a lot of more insightful opinions on that. Uh, on mobile app development, uh, and hope audience have got enough of informations too. Thank you so much for joining in. So ending on online meetings are kind of a tricky one. So you can tell a one message for all our attendees. Once you have completed it, I'll end the podcast.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for having me here. It was a pleasure talking about this. Second, I'd say to everyone, like whether you're in a job or whether you're learning or whether you're a college student, whatever, just never stop learning, keep building, keep collaborating, and the results will reflect themselves. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Join us next week. We have CCNA. We will be having Archana with CCNA Cisco networking as a topic for the talk show. Thank you. Thank you so much.